Hello everyone, welcome to 𝗖𝗵𝗵𝗺 where we are discussing gastrointestinal tract infections. This is going to be our 7th class where we will be discussing the miscellaneous topics, miscellaneous bacteria, that is H. pylori and C. jejuni. Okay. So without wasting any time, H. pylori, please remember Helicobacter pylori is just like helix and helix is just like this helical one. Okay. So it is a spiral bacteria, and you know with the basic knowledge which we have discussed in general microbiology that it is gram negative bacillus. Okay. So depending upon the motility, remember just like helicopter has the wings only on one side, Helicobacter pylori is also lophotrichous, that means the flagella is present in the group but on the one side. So it is a motile organism. It is a microaerophilic. It just require a lot, a small amount. If you remember, the mnemonic for microaerophilic was 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗺. So H for Helicobacter pylori. Coming on to habitat. So in ABCD also 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗺, right? So H means Helicobacter, G means gastric. So it is a common cell of the gastric antrum. And one more important thing, that it is having urease. So Helicobacter pylori is highest producer of urease. So what it is going to happen, it will release out urea a lot, and the smell of the urea will come in the breath. So this is going to called as urea breath test. Okay, you got it. So Helicobacter pylori is going to have a lot of urea. Okay, just remember that. So what are the virulence factor for H. pylori? So remember, it has got urease. So what urease is going to do? It is going to neutralize the gastric acid. So initially gastric acid, okay, the acid was responsible for killing the bacteria. But now there will be no killing of bacteria because the urease is going to neutralize the gastric acid, my dear friends. Also, they have got 𝗲𝗃A cytotoxin that is responsible for causing the cell injury. They have got CAG-A, that is cytotoxin associated gene A. Because it is cytotoxic, that means it is going to kill the cells. That means there is increased inflammation that is linked with the gastric cancer, because continuously if there will be inflammation, it leads to cancer. Why? Because continuous inflammation leads to dead cell. So the cells will now try to form new cells. So there will be rapid multiplication. So if there are cells are dead and you want the cells to form rapidly, so there will be new cells which will be producing rapidly. So time will come that the normal cells will now change into actively dividing cell, and these actively dividing cells are called as cancer cells. Okay. So that is because of CAG-A. Okay. So CAG-A. So can you see C and G looks together? Looks same. So C and G, G for gastric cancer. Okay. And VAC is vacuolating cytotoxin that is responsible for causing the cell injury. Okay. Coming on to adhesins. What adhesins will do? It will help in colonization of the gastric epithelium. Adhesion. Okay. Then chronic infection. If there is chronic infection, it can cause gastric adenocarcinoma and MALT lymphoma. What is MALT? Mucosa associated, okay, mucosa associated lymphoid tissue will show lymphoma. So the chronic infection can even cause cancers like adenocarcinoma and MALT lymphoma. So what are the diseases being caused? One is gastritis, other is ulcers, the peptic ulcer and duodenal ulcer. So this is very important. Then gastric carcinoma, especially in blood group A. Okay. So blood group A, remember A, B, C. So A for A, B for blood group, and C for cancer. So if you are having A blood group, the chances of H. pylori induced gastric cancers are very high, and other cancer is MALT lymphoma. Okay, so these are the diseases caused. How will we diagnose it? Remember, invasive test includes a gastric biopsy and histology. So if you will take a biopsy and histology, these are the normal gastric cells. Can you see? These are the normal gastric cells which are there, and these abnormal things are nothing else but the H. pylori. So which is the staining? So you use 𝗲𝗏𝗃 stain or the Stenner stain. 𝗲𝗏𝗃 stain or the Stenner stain for H. pylori. Okay. So please remember H. pylori, you have to remember which one. So there is a brand of windows called as HP. Okay. So HP means H. pylori, W windows for 𝗲𝗏𝗃 and S for Steiner. Okay. You got it? Good. What will be the culture media? So culture media will be Campylobacter media or the Skirrow's media. Okay. So remember this, if you drink Campa Cola, where it is going to go? To your stomach, right? So Campa Cola goes to my stomach, and in stomach lives the H. pylori. So please remember that C for Campa, C for Campylobacter, S for stomach, S for Skirrow's media. Okay. Then obviously rapid urease test is there, which you call it as the urea breath test. Okay. So that's sufficient to remember. The urea breath test, which is most sensitive and rapid test. Okay. So the others are obviously the ELISA and the PCR, which you can do. What will be the treatment regimen? So it is a triple therapy. One is going to be the proton pump inhibitor, 2 antibiotics. Metronidazole is must. Then other will be amoxicillin or clarithromycin, depending upon your choice. Okay. So remember, antibiotics CAM is very, very important. C for clarithromycin, amoxicillin and metronidazole. These are important. And I've told you already that there are some blood groups association which you should know in general, like A blood group with the H. pylori is most commonly seen, especially with the cancers. Then O is for Vibrio. So this Vibrio's O can teach you about the O. And remember the gonococcal infection, the gonococci, you remember it, that it is associated with blood group B. So gonococcus with the blood group B, it is associated. Okay. Coming on to the next topic. Okay, remove this number, that is Campylobacter. Again very important. Full name is Campylobacter jejuni. Okay, Campylobacter jejuni. So Campylobacter is just like you can say birdie. So bird, I will try to make a beautiful bird now. This is my bird, and my bird will fly. So my bird is going to fly, and in order to fly it needs wings, and once it is flying it is reaching the sky, and there are a lot of stars which are going to be there. Okay. And so when my bird was at earth, the bird used to spend most of the time with the animal friends. Okay, I'll make a dog. Okay, let me make this. Yes, the animal friends. Okay, she used to spend. Okay, and my bird was living in Delhi. So she was happy in a little oxygen also, right? She was happy in a little oxygen also. Sometimes, because this is the earth and this is the watery area, sometimes she used to go to swim also. She used to like the swimming also. Okay, so she used to go there. Okay, and yeah, so this was the case. Now once she flew up in the stars, the dog was crying. Dog cried a lot. Okay, he cried that much that blood started coming out of the eyes of the dog. Okay, इतना रोया कि आँखों से आंसू नहीं, खून के आंसू बहने लगे. Okay, so the blood started coming out of the eyes of the dog. Okay, and then dog's mother gave him a bottle of Campa Cola and told him that it's okay, fine, you please don't worry. So he took that Campylobacter, okay. So now he was happy, he was okay. So then other thing what he did, he put a CD, okay, and watched a movie. So dog in the end, he was like, it's okay, now the bird has to go, bird has to fly, okay. So yeah, he was watching a movie, okay, like that, right. But I mean, dog was still not very happy, not missing the bird a lot, okay. Why? Because they were very good friends. So this whole story of mine, I give it a name, that is Good Buddies Separated. So this was a little story of mine. So there was a little bird with the wings. She flew into the stars. When she was on the land, she used to swim. She used to spend her time with the dog. The dog and the wingy bird, they used to spend time in Delhi, where oxygen was less and the temperature was high. But one day the bird flew, the dog cried, but the dog's mother gave him Campa, asked him, please watch the movie, okay. Then the things settled, okay. So this movie is Good Buddies Separated. This is my movie. I am the producer, the director and everything. Let me just tell you why this story was created by me. So first of all, Campylobacter jejuni, C. jejuni, remember, I am talking about Campylobacter. This you have to remember with the mnemonic Campa, okay. So this is Campylobacter, Campa, okay. Okay, I will try to, yeah, Campylobacter, Campa, first thing. Second is shape. So shape of this organism is gull-wing appearance, okay. Gull-wing, so I have told you wing, okay, gull-wing appearance. They used to live in less oxygen in Delhi, obviously less oxygen and high temperature. So good growth at higher temperatures like 42 degrees Celsius, but microaerophilic, it requires very less amount of oxygen to grow. When it used to live on the earth, they used to swim together. So swarming motility in the medium and darting motility on the microscopic. So swarming motility, it has got M, so you can remember, okay, leave it. Swarming motility on the medium and darting motility on the microscopy, okay. And the source is zoonotic. I told you, na, it used to live with the dog, right. So in the place of dog, you can assume a hen which is there, okay, just hen you can assume. So hen, poultry, okay. So poultry and other animals are the source of infection. Then Campa, Campa says cyclic AMP is going to increase. So the toxin increases the cyclic AMP, okay, one thing. The second is, if something is increasing, that means cyclic AMP is increasing, something has to decrease, that is protein synthesis, okay. And remember, it was bleeding. Why? Because the organism is invasive, it leads to bloody diarrhea. And diarrhea is happening, obviously there will be abdominal pain, abdominal cramps, and the name of the story is Good Buddies Separated. So what does that mean? GBS. Remember, there was a recent outbreak in the city of Pune of GBS, Guillain-Barré Syndrome, that has a characteristic feature of ascending paralysis. So what happens? First of all, the feet will be paralyzed, then the core trunk will be paralyzed, then the hands will be paralyzed, then the neck muscles will be paralyzed, then the facial muscles will be paralyzed. This is the ascending paralysis which is seen in the GBS, Guillain-Barré Syndrome. You can remember with Good Buddies Separated. And in order to check it, because it is seen in the gut only, so the sample has to be taken from stool, from the vomitus or the food. And I have told you the wings of the bird and the bird flew in the stars for thin silver starry stain, and similar sounding than stars is sterner silver starry stains. The culture, Campylobacter, we have already discussed, Campa. So culture is just like 𝗵𝗵𝗴𝗵𝗺 media, and crow. So when my bird is nothing but crow, so the media is Skirrow. Okay, my bird is nothing but the crow. So it was actually a story of crow and a hen. Okay, and then the treatment is ELISA and PCR, and in the end they plugged in a CD. So because they plugged in a CD, that means ciprofloxacin and cyclin C and D. So this was all about of the major topic of Vibrio cholera as well as C. jejuni. Thank you so much, and I hope that you have liked this lecture, and please put on your comments, feedbacks, good wishes, blessings for us, and let's grow together. Thank you so much.